Welcome back to the deep dive. This is it. This is the weekend where the NFL season goes from, just intense to, well, to absolutely existential.
It really is. We are staring down the high-stakes wildcard slate.
And we know you want that ultimate shortcut, that edge to watching these games like a true expert.
That's exactly what we've put together for you.
Yeah.
We've gone through stacks of expert commentary, research notes, tactical breakdowns, and we're pulling out the razor's edge.
The specific pressure points.
The crucial individual matchups,
Yeah.
and really the single players who, according to the sharpest minds out there, are going to decide whether their team moves on or goes home.
So our mission today is pretty simple. We're here to help you understand that strategic chess match that's about to unfold. You're not just going to be watching the action.
No, you'll be equipped with the why. You'll have that critical context for why certain players are under such intense scrutiny and how these defensive coordinators are meticulously planning their strategies.
Down to the finest detail.
Exactly. So we've broken this all down into really 3 core conflicts for the weekend.
Okay, what are they?
First, the staggering and maybe even unfair pressure on one AFC star quarterback. Then there's this critical question mark hanging over a supposedly elite run defense.
And finally,
The detailed keys, the blueprint for a potential upset against the biggest road playoff favorite we've seen since the merger.
okay, let's unpack this. And we have to start right where that biggest spotlight is shining.
On Josh
On Josh Allen. The whole narrative around him going into this playoff run it feels different than any other year, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And the source material, I mean, it doesn't mince words at all. When you look at his playoff resume, it's a story of these incredible highs in the wild card round,
Right.
but a very clear ceiling beyond that.
Let's just review those numbers for a second because they are pretty staggering. Allen is 5-1 in the wild card round,
And more importantly, the Bills' offense is just hyper-productive in those games.
scoring 30 or more points in their last 4 trips. That's proof they can just dominate early.
There's always a but. The shadow hanging over all that production is his performance away from home.
4 playoff road games, 4 losses.
He is 0-4. And that includes those really tough losses in Kansas City. That one specific statistic is just haunting this conversation. And the road test this weekend in Jacksonville,
Yeah.
it's viewed as a significant weight on his shoulders.
And here's the historical piece that makes it all so unique. Allen is walking into this postseason with 7 playoff wins as a starter. Our research flags that as the most wins by a starting QB without a Super Bowl appearance in NFL history. No other quarterback has more than 5. That's a historical marker of unfulfilled potential.
And that context is precisely why the expert commentary is just unanimous. They are putting all the pressure on him this year.
And it's maximized because of the landscape.
Right. Exactly. Think about the field. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. They're not active in the AFC bracket. Allen is, and I'm quoting the source here, the unquestioned guy at the position.
The implication there is just immense. If he's the unquestioned guy, then the expectation is, well, he should carry his team past everyone else in the wildcard field.
He has to. And the analysts are saying the excuses are completely off the table for Allen this year. The sources are so clear. If the Bills lose this game, it is on him.
Full stop.
Full stop. They won't care if James Cook has a bad day, or if Stephon Diggs drops a few passes, or if the defense just collapses against the run.
Is that standard even fair? Does any single player in modern football really will a team to victory past a complete systemic failure? It feels like we're applying this almost mythological standard to a modern team sport.
That's the core of the whole discussion. The analysts are pointing out that the truly great Hall of Famers, the ones who get those legendary statuses, they have a history of having to will their team to win.
Of dragging teams who weren't supposed to be champions.
Precisely. And since those other established AFC greats are on the sideline, the responsibility, whether it's fair or not, it falls squarely on Allen.
And this all ties back to that perception that since that incredible 2021 divisional round game, the one,
Oh, yeah.
Allen has kind of lived in this bubble where criticism was nearly impossible because his play was just too good.
Right. But if they lose this specific game, the sources all suggest that the conversation about Allen will have to change. It stops being about his individual talent.
It becomes about legacy.
It becomes about legacy and achieving that ultimate goal. The point is, if the Bills don't advance, the next phase of the conversation is going to be, we know what you've done, but we needed you to show up this year, and you didn't.
Huh?
That pressure is just enormous.
Lorig's narrative is intense, but, Allen isn't playing against a historical expectation on Sunday. He's playing a defense.
And that brings us to the ultimate point of friction this weekend, the Jaguars' defense.
Right, and the sources noted that Jacksonville hasn't seen an offense nearly as good as Buffalo's, probably since they played the Rams way back in mid-October.
And what's fascinating here is how the source material immediately starts to critique what's been one of the biggest talking points around Jacksonville.
The idea that they have the best run defense in the NFL.
Yes. That title sounds incredibly intimidating on paper.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course. If you hear that headline, you're thinking, okay, Buffalo has to abandon the run and just rely entirely on Allen's arm.
But the sources just pour cold water all over that claim. They immediately question the Jaguars' strength of schedule, specifically when it comes to the run game.
So who have they played?
Well, they haven't really seen a top 10 run game all season. And when you build these dominant defensive stats against shaky opponents, the material specifically called out New England and the struggling Jets.
That completely reframes the challenge Buffalo presents, doesn't it?
It does. So you have this run defense built on a foundation of, let's say, questionable opponents, facing what experts are calling the best run game in football.
With, and this is another quote, the best offensive line when it comes to running the game in the NFL. That's a direct conflict of identity right there.
And it raises the critical question of legitimacy. Is the Jaguars' run defense for real against elite playoff-level competition? The Bills' strategy, according to the sources, it has to be to test the absolute limits of that defense and do it immediately.
And the blueprint for that test is detailed. Buffalo needs to systematically prove that the Jags just cannot handle specific power-running concepts.
They need to find out, can the Jags handle duo or double teams consistently? Can they handle tight ends being used heavily in the run game?
And what about blocking wide receivers on the perimeter?
Exactly. That's how Buffalo finds out how good this run defense actually is, by forcing them to defend their best run concepts over and over again. If Jacksonville breaks, it suddenly takes all that pressure off of Josh Allen and completely reverses the narrative.
Okay, let's pivot a little bit. Let's go from a team-on-team focus to the specific individuals who can dictate defensive success in the other matchups.
Because individual brilliance just matters so much in the playoffs. We talk about quarterbacks all the time, but the defensive specialist, that's the true chaos agent.
Absolutely.
And we have to start with a foundational stat here. The active quarterbacks this weekend, Drake May and Justin Herbert, they are top 2 in the entire NFL this season against the blitz.
So just sending extra guys won't be enough?
No. Straight pressure won't work, which makes a defensive challenge from the Chargers against May so fascinating.
And the key player here, the true defensive chess piece, has to be Derwin James.
It's all about him. The expert instruction for the Chargers defense is simple, but it's profound. May must never know where Derwin James is coming from.
He has to be everywhere, disguising coverage, disguising pressure, moving pre-snap.
All of it. And the numbers, they back up his phenomenal impact, especially against that intermediate passing game. Get this. Since 2021, James has allowed only 4.9 yards to tight ends.
Wait, stop. Less than 5 yards per attempt over 3 seasons against tight ends.
That's the stat. That lockdown capability is why he's the key. And it's so critical because Hunter Henry is a huge part of that opposing offense. He's the security blanket.
So if James shuts him down, that forces May into decisions he's just not comfortable with.
And this whole strategy, this reliance on mixing up coverages and pressures, it reminds the analysts of what Sean McDermott did in the second half of a previous Patriots game, or what Jesse Mentor did to C.J. Stroud earlier this season.
You make them rush through as you lead them into turnovers.
Exactly. And James's versatility is the key to unlocking all of that defensive chaos against a young quarterback.
Speaking of chaos, but on the defensive line, let's look at the Rams versus Panthers matchup. The big problem for the Rams offense is a guy named Derek Brown.
He is described as one of the best, if not the best, run-stopping defensive tackles in football this year.
And that creates a massive problem for the Rams, especially because they're dealing with a big loss on their offensive line. No Kevin Dotson at right guard.
So now you have a league-leading run stopper going against a potential backup, or at least a player who's being forced into a new role. That's a mismatch.
And we've seen this before, right? We have historical evidence of defensive tackles just ruining football games in the playoffs by dominating the interior.
Oh, it's not just a theory. It's a real possibility. If Derek Brown cannot be contained by just one guy consistently, if the Rams have to commit 2 blockers to him,
It creates a massive problem. It allows the Panthers' defense to dictate terms, and it just ruins the Rams' entire play action and run plans.
But the Rams have their own chess piece, one that presents a different kind of math problem for the Panthers' defense.
We're talking about Stephon Diggs.
Well, the source actually refers to him as Devontae, which I think just shows his immediate impact as this high-value weapon. The Rams can weaponize Diggs by himself, especially down in the red zone.
And that forces the defense into a tough choice. If they commit an extra body, if they double Diggs, that allows the Rams to run the football or use their keeper game.
So the addition of Diggs is a huge deal, but handling Derek Brown is just as critical to the Rams' success. It's a classic battle. Interior line versus perimeter weapon.
So let's talk about the Panthers' actual game plan. How can they pull off an upset against the Rams, who are, again, the biggest road playoff favorite since the merger?
The experts' blueprint is really simple, and it's built on their prior success. It's a two-step plan. First, force Matthew Stafford to turn the ball over.
And second,
Possess the football on offense. Control the clock.
detailing that possession plan is key, isn't it? The Panthers now have Robert Hunt on their offensive line, which is a powerful addition. Meanwhile, the Rams are the ones missing a starting guard.
Right, that's where the advantage could be. And the key on offense for them is just efficiency. It's not necessarily about explosive runs.
So Chuba Hubbard just needs to grind out 5, 6, 7 yards, keep the clock moving, keep that potent Rams offense on the sideline.
That's the engine of the upset, that slow, methodical possession game.
And if they can run efficiently, that then allows Bryce Young to hit on a few shot plays downfield.
And the analysts believe the only matchup advantage Carolina feels really good about is their receivers, Keto McMillan and Jalen Coker, against the Rams' corners.
McMillan versus Weatherspoon is the one they noted specifically.
Yes, as a place to attack, because Weatherspoon can be gotten over the top on. In every improbable win the Panthers have had this season, Young has hit on a few of those downfield throws to loosen things up.
So that has to happen here, on top of the super efficient running game. That's the only way they pulled this off against such heavy odds.
It's a tall order.
It is. Speaking of quarterbacks who need to be perfect, let's just briefly go back to Justin Herbert. He really hasn't gotten the credit he deserves for his individual play.
Not at all.
The talent, the toughness, especially after losing 2 exceptional tackles this season and having to just improvise constantly.
He's had to overcome so much adversity, but the critical flaw that's highlighted in the sources is ball security. He has to protect the ball and still create big plays for an undermanned team.
And the sources reference 2 specific pass failures that really define this need for better ball security.
Those are the moments that haunt the team, right?
Yeah.
Losing a 24-point lead in Jacksonville.
And throwing 4 interceptions in one game last year against Houston, which is more than he threw the entire season in some cases.
He just has to minimize those turnovers for his team to have any shot. Any mistake is magnified when your team is already fighting uphill like that.
We've covered the individual pressure points, the strategic advantages, the crucial deficiencies all across the slate. But let's end on a fun piece of meta commentary from the experts we sourced.
A little reminder of the beautiful chaos of playoff football.
I love this. You're talking about the notorious NFL Live curse that surrounds unanimous picks.
Ah, yes. It's a wonderful bit of perspective, especially heading into a weekend where we do have some clear favorites.
So they actually tallied up the records for when the panel was unanimous on a game pick this year. And the specific stat is this. The panel was 31-23-1 on the year when they all picked the same way.
Just think about that for a second. That means the experts, these bright football minds who are paid to predict these games, were wrong 23 times when they were completely unified.
23 times.
The source material called that record scary, and it's just a fantastic light note on the inherent unpredictability of the playoffs, even when the consensus feels overwhelming.
As it does with the Rams being such heavy road favorites.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you as you settle in this weekend? We've talked about quarterbacks facing immense pressure, defenses relying on a single exceptional chess piece like Derwin James or Derek Brown to just completely ruin a game plan.
So given that historical data, the data that shows the experts were wrong 23 times when they all agreed, where do you see the hidden variable? Where is the individual player destined to defy that collective expert consensus this weekend? Is it, I don't know, the Chargers' unheralded running back or a surprise corner in Jacksonville?
That's the player you need to be looking for when you tune in.
That's the one. Thanks for diving deep with us.